Finally, Sarra Messaoudi, the Regional Coordinator for MENA Coalition on Youth, Peace and Security. Right, so to begin with, I'm going to ask Sarah to set the context with a few remarks. Sarah, over to you.
Amazing. So greetings, everyone. I'm really so happy to be present today with this incredible gathering of individuals who dare to think, reflect, and engage on private sector investment in peace building, particularly youth-led peace building. Here in Africa, the heart of resilience and hope, and also the heart of global philanthropy, as we are really redefining it. And I would say we are really the heart of global generosity. As some of you might know, there are almost different African countries taking the lead as top 10 and top 25 in the global philanthropy, global giving index. So they have the highest level of giving. My name is Sarra Messaoudi, and I come from Tunisia, Tunis, and I'm a team member acting as the regional lead of the MENA Coalition on Youth, Peace and Security. So we are a coalition of 200 members, individuals as well as CSOs, and we work on advancing youth peace and security agenda through exchange, learning, policy and advocacy, as well as youth protection. Our members focus on three themes: peace building, human rights, and climate security. And coming as a coalition is truly powerful because it challenged the narrative that young people are working in silos and that they are competitive in resources. However, they are really joining forces and they are exchanging even financial resources, knowledge, and other. Also, Youth Network nowadays are joining global movements on decolonization of resources and funding, and to really shift the power to locally led and locally owned peace-building actions. Throughout almost 3 years of our journey within the MENA Coalition, we can say we succeeded in reaching out to thousands of people, implementing regional programs, as well as even building a small physical library and having youth representation in policy spaces. All of this was done with minimal resources coming from the members themselves. And we have been reflecting. And if we will wait for funding, we won't do action. So better be there, do our mission, and just walk the talk. At the same time, we reflected that if we just had a little bit of resources, maybe we could have gone miles, especially to support coordination. Hence, we knew that we had to think about new funding models, and we have been exploring for the past months how the private sector can play a role in driving this transformative power of youth-led peace building. And this was done through the Finance Task Force at the Global Coalition on Youth, Peace and Security, funded by UNICEF and Dag Hammarskjöld Foundation. And through different stories, we have identified, let's say, hope and success that we can actually build on. How youth have been invested open from the private sector, whether direct or indirect peace building. For example, in Egypt, there are some private companies that contributed to the Nile campaign and initiative, where they extracted almost 200 tons from waste from the Nile. This was done by youth volunteers, and it was sponsored by private companies. Or even in Libya, there was a consortium of company and restaurants who do annual event in Ramadan, in the iftar, called Fturak Alina, mean your breakfast on us, and they do this community gathering, and along with youth-led organization, they sell tickets, and with these tickets, the money collected, it goes then distributed to all youth and local-led organization in the area to work on local settings and local needs. I would also love to share with you an example from a very small village in the southern of Tunisia, where 2 gypsum factories resulted in the pollution of the area. So there were protests and frustration, especially from young people. So they sat with these young people and they co-designed a solution together, and they agreed that they will incorporate better environmental practices, as well as they will provide more employment opportunities for the local people, and the directors agreed to give funding constantly and regularly to a youth-led organization in that area to do youth programs, peace-building activities, as well as to do any local needs from that community. So after 7 years from this investment, the area is cleaner, it's safer, there are no protests, that youth-led organization feel empowered from this collaboration, and also actually local citizens are satisfied. There are many examples of how private sector invested in peace building, for example, in education or maybe in entrepreneurship. But it was so hard to find examples and data of direct peace building activity. Let's say, for instance, community dialogue, youth political participation, stronger justice and governance system. Because it has been seen and perceived that investment in peace building is seen risky and politicized. But I think it's about time that we come and challenge together and collectively this perception, because definitely investment in direct peace building activity lead to better governance, better economic freedom, which will benefit not only the citizen, but the private companies, lower cost of conflicts, better educated workforce, and youth-led organization specifically, they have stronger mobilization power, and they have also access to local communities. That's why throughout our development and discussion of this research and strategy, there are different recommendations. I would like to highlight 3 of them. The first one is invest in organizational readiness, because private sector might not understand what is youth peace and security agenda, what is the principle of youth engagement, but also youth-led organization might not understand what is a peace bond, what are impact bond, equity investment. However, if you allow space, you can actually learn from each other. Young people expressed that the best funding and financing experiences they had is when they were mentored and they were given opportunity to reframe their ideas and proposal. The second recommendation is invest in peace tech. We know that the private sector let's say contribution is beyond financial. When we launched a Tech for YPS platform within the MENA coalition, we found that young peace builders are building peace using artificial intelligence, virtual reality, content management system, and other technological tools that can be so costly for a youth-led volunteer organization. And here, private sector can come in and develop these platforms. They can also build the capacity of peace practitioners. And the third recommendation is actually to join youth networks and movement. Why not as members, if that is accessible, as mentors, as advisors, as partners? You know, there is an emergence of youth peace building networks now. There is the Global Coalition on YPS, MENA Coalition, and in Africa alone, there are different youth peace and security national networks in Kenya, Somalia, DRC, Nigeria. You can really come in because they are developing national action plan on youth peace and security. And this is the key moment for you to step in and say, how can you contribute as a private sector? And maybe you can even help them develop business case, because we know that the private sector look for return on investment, but maybe you will see benefit in that. You can exchange language. So most of these insights exist in this report and strategy that we would like to share with you, and that you have a look on them. And it's beyond research. It has really technical parts of it, and it calls for investment more in network coordination so efforts are not duplicated. I would like to end with a message. Young people today no longer and refuse to be seen just as perpetrators or victims of conflict. They are really also refusing to be someone to talk on their behalf or to decide on their behalf. They are leading peace. They are asking, do not just consult us, move beyond in the ladder of engagement, make us partners in the leadership of peace, because we seek a peace that is multidimensional, not only from security lens, but we also want human rights. We also want meaningful participation. The peace we want is a just peace based on human rights. And we really want that you perceive us as equal leaders and meaningful leaders, and we ask for intergenerational partnership. That is why we are here today, and we are ready with our time, investment, with our radical ideas to drive the causes we believe in. And we ask you, are you ready to join our fight? Are you ready to be with us in the front line? Because together we can drive a system impact. Shukran. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I think you are bringing out very exciting points there. It seems to me there is an emerging solution around the private sector, the engagement of young people, and other critical stakeholders, including government. And I think you have cited quite a number of local economic development solutions that really maximize the strengths of these partners. So